Okay guys, this is going to be my overview of the really cool little Beretta Nano. This is a micro compact 9mm, and as we've seen here in the recent years, a lot of companies have been coming out with these micro compact size handguns, and they have been extremely popular, especially for the carry concealed market out there. And we'll get into that, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I picked this one up and kind of its intended use for me. First, I'll go ahead and show you the packaging. It has an outer sleeve, just a thin cardboard box that it comes in, and then this is the plastic case that comes inside that actually holds the gun. Now, I have to say right up front that I do have a criticism about this right off the bat, and that is this box isn't going to be usable very long because you see these plastic tabs here. There's just plastic there holding it to the lid on top, and it's already turned white. If I bend this up and down a couple of times, it would just snap right off. So the box isn't going to hold up very long. I don't understand why a company like Beretta would make a box like this that is not going to be usable after a few times of opening and closing. You can see there where the dark blue has already turned white how plastic does when you bend it back and forth. So here it is. It is empty, and you have to do a little bit differently on this pistol than you would with most to drop the slide, and we'll get into all that. This is the 6-round magazine, and it also comes with an 8-round magazine, as you see right here. And I'll talk about that and put it in the gun here in a little bit. Now, the concealed carry market has been growing by leaps and bounds here in the recent years, going back to about, I don't know, within the 5-10 year span. And with that comes companies that are trying to gear some of their merchandise toward people who aren't specifically what we would call gun guys or gun people. A lot of these people that are getting their carry concealed permit, which is a good thing, they want to be able to protect themselves and their family, and they should. But a lot of these people want to carry the smallest package possible to make it more comfortable, more convenient, and just basically have something that they can't even really tell is there. And with that has come offerings such as the XDS 45 and 9, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, and also this, the Beretta Nano. Now, for me, this would be either a backup gun or something just on occasion that if I need something quick, just a grab and throw in the pocket gun. I have no reason not to carry something like my G19 or an HK or any of the mainstream handguns out there, XD, Smith & Wesson M&P. Some people just do not want to do that, but they still want to be able to have a gun on them. So gun makers are trying to gear some of their items toward that, and going by the sales, extremely popular. In my area, there is several gun stores that are not far from me, and you still cannot go in and find an M&P Shield. I have not yet seen an M&P Shield in person, and I go to gun stores quite often. So offerings like this and the M&P Shield stand to make companies a lot of money. So that's going to make, it's a good thing in a way, because a lot of companies are going to try to come out with different things to compete, to get in on that market, to sell to people that want something as small as they can go, but still have a gun on them. Now, this, for me, is something that I wanted, and just in case I'm going to run outside, just a grab, throw in the pocket. Good thing for in the winter, throw in a coat pocket, just to have options, just to have other options. For the most part, I will be carrying a mid-size gun to a full-size gun with no problem at any given time. This would also be a great ankle carry gun or an ankle carry backup gun. Now, some of the things that Beretta did with this, which is really unique, is, like I told you about dropping the slide. Now, if I were to rack the slide back right now on this, you'll see it locks back just like it would after the last round is fired. But as you'll notice, if you look along the frame and the rest of the gun here, there is no way to drop that slide. There is no lever. There's no button. So what you have to do is either insert a new magazine loaded with ammo, or take this magazine out and just by a quick pull on the slide goes down. Now, I don't mind the gun being built like this, because anytime I rack a gun, I never use a slide stop. I always start, when I rack the gun, by coming over top and doing it this way. Anytime that you need to do this and there's stress involved, this is going to be a better way to do it with gross motor skills than trying to hit a little lever if you're really stressed out. I'm talking adrenaline flowing. Anytime you can grab something with your whole hand like this and pull back, that's the way I feel you should train, because that's going to be what's easiest for you if you ever need to do that and you're in some deep trouble. So now I'll go ahead and show you the 8-round magazine. It does give a better grip, but keep in mind that it also adds to the size of the gun. For me personally, I just use the 6-round one and take advantage of having the gun in its smallest size possible. Now, the reason that there's no levers or anything or external safeties on the outside of this gun is to make it very streamlined and snag free. So it's an excellent pocket pistol. Anytime you pull this from any pocket or anything like that, there is nothing on this gun that is going to hinder it being pulled. So it makes it very streamlined and makes it just, makes the package thinner, because if you had a slide stop lever here, obviously you would have a portion of the gun that sticks out and does add to the width of the gun overall. Now, the holster that I have been playing around with and using when I'm carrying this to see how it does is this Nate Tactical Squared. And before I had said that this holster was for a Glock 26, this is actually a holster that was for the Springfield XDS 45. And as you'll see, this fits in there perfectly. I've worn this and like this, and it's very comfortable. It stays close to the body, and it just seems to be very easy to carry and very comfortable to carry as well. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and field strip the Nano for you and let you see what you have to do to take it apart and look at some of the parts internal. Now, Beretta does not recommend that you dry fire this gun a whole lot. Now, I have dry fired this I don't know, probably a dozen times just to test the trigger pull, and I'll talk about that a little bit more after I put it back together. But since they don't recommend dry firing it a lot, they have a little tab here that you can see in the frame, and when you push in on that tab, it decocks the firearm so you don't have to pull the trigger in order to field strip it. You'll hear a click here, and now the gun is decocked. Another thing that you'll see is what resembles a big flathead screw right here, and I recommend that you put something non-marring in there to turn that. You can use a penny, you can use the casing of the case rim of a 9mm shell, but I'm going to go ahead and use a penny. Now, this is going to be turned counterclockwise to about the 9 o'clock position, and you'll see what happens when I do that. See, the slide jumped forward a little bit. Always take your magazine out first. And now you can just slide it right off the frame. Looks pretty standard as to what you're used to seeing with a lot of other semi-auto guns. One of the unique things about the Beretta Nano is the fact that you can take out this whole interior metal piece here that has the serial number on it, and you can change your frame color by ordering one. I've seen them for $28, $30. You can get flat dark earth and a couple other colors, and then you put the whole metal housing back in the new frame when it gets here, and then you have a whole new color. So your serial number just transfers right over. So there is what the inside the frame looks like. I'll go in a little bit close here. This is your ejector. Okay, now we'll take a look at the slide. Now, I don't know why, if it's just mine or if it's all these, but mine sticks in the hole up here, my recoil spring and guide rod. This polymer end piece always sticks in there, and I have to really pull hard to get it out of there. Here it is. It is a steel recoil guide rod and spring, except for the top piece is polymer. Now I'll go ahead and take out the barrel, and as you can see, it's a very small barrel. Now see, when gun manufacturers tell you the length of a barrel, they measure from muzzle end to back here, and I don't think that's fully accurate, because your round gets chambered and it's seated to there. So actually, when the bullet's fired, the barrel that you're using is from about right there forward. So the barrel's always actually, the space that the bullet travels through is a little bit smaller than what the manufacturer says that the barrel length is. So not a big deal really, I guess, but you know, it's something for you to keep in mind at any rate. So here is the way the gun goes back together. Let me zoom out a little bit. Then I'm going to, now you'll see when I put this together here, what's nice is this screw goes back automatically. You never have to worry about checking to see if you've adjusted that or locked it in, because it locks back on its own, and I'll show you that here. Okay, watch the screw. See? You never have to worry about knowing if you turned it the right way or anything like that. I really like that feature of the gun, because that saves you a lot of effort and worrying about something that you shouldn't have to worry about. Now what I carry in it is the Hordney. I don't know why I pronounced that wrong. Hornady. Critical Duty. And this is the 135 grain Flex Lock. So that's the round that I prefer in this little guy. Now the trigger pull is actually pretty crisp. It is heavier than a Glock or an XD or XDM, Springfield M&P. The take-up's not bad. Goes to about there, and then boom. But the trigger pull is pretty crisp. Now I'll go ahead and show you the reset point. Right there. So it resets pretty far out. It's not a great trigger, guys. I'm not gonna pull your leg. It's not a great trigger by any means. So, but it's not the worst trigger that I've been around. For what this gun is, a micro compact 9mm, it's good enough for what it is, and it'll get you by. All in all, I would think this would be a great gun, even if it is your only everyday carry. It would be 100 times better to have this, and if you're ever in a situation where you need it, than to not have nothing at all. I'll be sure and get you some range footage when I take this out and shoot it, and we'll see how it does and what I think after that. Alright guys, till next time, this is H4T, and I hope everyone has a great day.